Hey everyone, welcome along to another video. So today I'm going to be giving you some tips and strategies that I personally find useful when it comes to studying with anxiety. Now, anxiety is something that affects us all, regardless of who we are, especially when we're studying, and it can really build up into a wider problem. So it's always useful to kind of employ some strategies to help you kind of cope and kind of deal with approaching assessments, whatever it may be. So the first thing to remember is don't struggle alone. This is a key point, and you really need to be approaching friends and especially tutors if you can. One of the top things I'd recommend is approaching your tutor sooner rather than later. There's nothing worse when a student encounters problems, doesn't speak up, and then it comes to the assessment and then they're really in trouble. Try and book time to see your tutor throughout the semester so that you can come up with learning strategies and ways to build towards assessments or whatever it may be that you're kind of having difficulty or anxiety around. Don't think of it as being an inconvenience for us. Tutors are there to help you. We are academics as well. We experience the same problems. You might not think it, but we all suffer from various things. I suffer from anxiety. I also have a neurodiverse condition. So I myself have to come up with ways in which I'm able to carry out my work and not get burdened with the pressures of anxiety. When you book time with your tutor, remember to do it in a way that's accessible to you. So you might prefer to use email, meet one-to-one, or use some form of video chat. Speak to your tutor and come to an agreement about how you both want to approach things and the way in which the kind of relationship will work best for you and give you the best results. The best way in which I keep myself organized is by keeping a good structure. The way I do this is I use a calendar app on my computer. I just use the bog standard calendar app, and what I do is I structure out my day in 1 hour slots. So for every hour, I work for 45 minutes and then I have a 15-minute break. Those 15 minutes are sacred. I can do whatever I want, but it's really important that you step away from your desk. Go out, get some fresh air, have a snack, drink some water, do a little bit of exercise, whatever you feel like doing. Just don't think about work for those 15 minutes. Even if you don't finish the task that you've set out to do within that hour, that's okay as well. Another important strategy is to remember to be kind to yourself. The use of scheduling is really helpful as well, because what it actually does is it breaks down bigger tasks into smaller pieces. So if you have an assignment coming up, if you organize it into your schedule, it gives you a longer period of time in which to do smaller amounts, rather than leaving it until the last minute and then kind of being like, whoa, I have this assignment to do, what am I going to do? It keeps you better in terms of time management, and also if you do these things in little chunks, you'll find that it should help with your anxiety as well. Like I say, if you don't manage to get everything done at the same time, that's okay as well. There's still other days in which you can do it. So a mantra that I use as well, particularly as someone who struggles with anxiety, is the mantra, just do two things. So what I mean by that is, if you get up in the morning and you don't feel like getting up, just say to yourself, just do two things. One of those things might actually be getting up, and then do something else after that. Because what you find is the more things you do, the more you feel able to do other things as well. So this is really useful for getting motivated, especially when you're procrastinating as well. So if you think of it like this, if you have a task in front of you that you don't want to do and you're procrastinating, you're worried about getting started, just write 100 words, just write 50 words, just write a sentence on the page. It doesn't have to be good, but if you write a sentence on the page and then write another one, then you might be able to keep going. And then before you know it, you might well have hit your target. All of these ideas, kind of the schedule, the tasks of doing one thing after the other, they help to build a sense of routine. Routine is the best tool you can have against procrastination, and procrastination is one of the key things that leads to anxiety. It really can exacerbate your symptoms. I actually structure my whole day. I structure my working day in which I kind of do my more quote-unquote academic work. So from 9 to 5, I'm working in 1 hour slots on various things that I need to do. Then I'll have dinner, and in the evening I spend about an hour and a half watching television shows in French because I'm trying to learn French. Then I'll spend some time on my writing and doing a bit of research for that as well. So at the moment I'm reading a lot of memoir because I'm writing a novel that's all fiction. So I slot out some time in the evening for that. then I head to bed, I listen to some podcasts in the background, I do a little bit more reading, just whatever to kind of wind down at the end of the day. That might seem quite rigid to you, and that's fair enough. So it's always about finding the happy medium that works best for you. So the structure really helps me in terms of kind of something like ADHD, but also particularly in terms of anxiety. It keeps me focused on what I need to be doing, and because I have that sense of routine, along with that kind of just two things mentality, just doing two things, I find that has really helped me get work done. I didn't do any of this before I actually studied as a postgraduate, and my studies were okay, but I get a lot more done and I'm a lot more productive today because I have that sense of structure. Some other things you might find useful are apps or kind of meditation practices. You can do simple breathing exercises. These apps have programs that you can follow, or you can just take 5 minutes out, 2 minutes out, and kind of do some breathing exercises. One that I really like to do, and which is especially useful if you feel that you are getting anxious and you can kind of feel things building up, is kind of spending a few minutes kind of breathing in for 5 seconds, holding it for 5 seconds, and then breathing out for 5 seconds. In terms of apps like Insight Timer and Calm, there's also really good relaxing music and kind of talks that you might find useful to listen to as well. When you feel yourself getting super anxious, using this app and just focusing on your breathing can really help. If you have an action plan, it's good to remember that it's there and being aware of what the strategies that you have are and using them in combination with some of the advice I've been giving you. It's not a one size fits all. This is very much a template that I am using that works for me, which you can adapt to your own situation. So like I said, in terms of the 1 hour slots, change that up. Maybe you want to work for half an hour, maybe you want to rest for half an hour. Do that, do whatever works for you. Use it alongside your action plan. Know what it is that might be triggering you and do the best that you can to kind of ease those situations. The other thing to remember is, especially when you feel like you aren't getting anywhere, is to take stock of your achievements. So the other good thing about having my schedule laid out is that I adjust it based on what I actually achieve for the day. So even if I don't spend the full time doing whatever I needed to do, I'll make a note of what I did manage. And then not only do I see what's coming in the future, I can see what I've managed in the past as well. And that gives me a sense of accomplishment. This is really important, especially when you have a lot of different assignments coming up, or you're in the middle of doing them, or you have to revise for an exam. Seeing the things that you have done gives you a sense of progress. This will help keep you motivated and keep going. The other thing to remember is to kind of stay hydrated, stay healthy, get sleep. You need at least 6 to 8 hours. I personally need a little bit more, but make sure that you're sleeping. Again, the kind of breathing practices before bed, listening to some relaxing music, all of these things to make sure that you get good sleep. Make sure that you're eating healthily and regularly. Make sure that you are spending time exercising if you can. Just a little walk on your break, if you can get outside, is super useful just for your own well-being. Make sure that you are getting away from where you study on your breaks, but if you can, make a space that is for studying. So you can see behind me, I've kind of got quite a small room. I work here. I kind of relax here on the sofa or film videos apparently, but I don't do work here and I don't relax there. Those two things are very distinct. So I try and keep separate spaces for separate things. So when I'm sat at my desk, it helps me get in the mind frame of working. And when I'm not at my desk, I can just chill out. So these are just some tips and strategies that I use to help with studying, to help kind of control my anxiety, to avoid procrastination, and to do the best that I can in my situations. Just another reminder, be kind to yourself, especially at the moment, and do things that work for you. What might work for me isn't necessarily going to work exactly for you, but give them a try, adjust them for your circumstances, and see how much it can help you. All right, that's it for today's video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell to keep up with notifications. I'll see you next time.